welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Renee and I read a lot. And this is my June recap. So I feel like let's just get started, right? Say hi, Clara. Hello. Mwah. She's my best friend. She a real bad bitch. Okay, go have fun. And here's Leo. He likes being smushed up against me. Because he's just a little mommy's boy, huh? See, I'm just a little mommy's boy. He loves when you can squish his face up right next to mine. It's his favorite thing. Mwah. I love you. Okay, go have fun. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the June recap. So this month, I feel like I have to do this quickly because this month I read 25 books. And here's my book journal spread. I'll put in a picture so it's easier to see while I talk, so I don't have to hold it in front of my face. I wanted to do, because it's June, I wanted to do a Pride theme, very original, but I love Pride, so why wouldn't I do a rainbow theme? I also love rainbows. And I did the whole Pride flag, not just the rainbow. Here, maybe I'll move this way so that I can talk and demonstrate, which is kind of weird. I wonder if this is how weather people feel when they're like talking about the weather, but there's nothing actually on the screen. It's just like a green screen. So they're just like pointing at like nothing. Is this how they feel? Because I don't think I love it. I don't think I would be a great weather person, but let me pretend. Also, my husband and I went to Tuscany this last weekend and we rented a boat, and I am so burned, like unreasonably burned, considering I very diligently applied my SPF 50 sunscreen that is for very fair skin and for babies, because I live in Italy, so they don't sell SPF 50 for adults because for whatever reason, I guess once you become an adult, you're no longer as pale as I am. My beautiful husband was blessed with the Sicilian genes that give him fantastic skin, so he goes out into the sun and he maybe burns, but within 2 hours it's tan. I burn, and within 2 hours I am the color of this necklace. So really, it's really fun leaning up against this bookcase, but I'll do it for you guys because I love you. It's not manipulative at all. Anyway, so back to my weather personing. I did the Pride Month colors, the whole flag, not just the rainbow. And I just repeated it because there was 15 colors that I had, and then I did it again. And then I asked my husband, I said, which color should I do? Because normally, like, whenever I have these months, now I'm going to pick this up again, I, like, have a month. Okay, April's also a bad example, but it has a theme. Like, May is orange, and March is blue. And I pick one of the blues or one of the oranges to, like, do the month in. But with a rainbow, obviously, that's difficult because it's a lot of colors, and so any of them could be there. But he told me to pick color, which one was it? Oh, yeah, basically the way that this whole journal page layout works is that over there on it's my left side of the journal. I assume it's got to be on the left as well, so I hope. That's where I track how much I read every day, and I use each little dot to be 10 pages, and it goes 25 dots across, so the end is 250. So if it's over 250, I just go to the end, but then I do write inside every day what books I read and how many pages of each book, and then I add them up, obviously, and that's how I get the total for the end of the day that I write at the end of the day. That probably seems obvious to say out loud. Anyway, so then on the other side, I put, my stats, my favorite book, least favorite book, the genres I read, the total pages, how many stars I give, the average stars I give, my favorite quote, and I put series at the bottom, and I just kind of fill up the page with however I'm feeling that month went. So yeah, we'll just review this page to begin with. The day that I read the most was June 6th with 431 pages. No clue what I was doing that day, why I could sit down and read so much, but that is that. The day that I read the least was June 11th with 59 pages. Again, don't really know what I was doing that I only read 59 pages, but still good, still reading. My favorite book was a duology because I couldn't pick between the two, but The Elements of Cadence duology by Rebecca Ross. I feel like I've talked about that so much for how much I love it, but I do love it, and everyone should read it, do it. My least favorite book, and this was not necessarily because it was the worst book, but because I left that book, maybe my expectations to what actually happened in the book were so skewed. It was The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I didn't like The Maidens either, which is another book that he's written. And so I should have seen this coming. I should have thought more critically and said, do I want to spend my time reading this book? But there's a Kindle achievement, and obviously I want to get all of my Kindle achievements. And this one was for Book Talk. And the problem is that when I went to go look at the list for all the qualifying books, I had read mostly all of them. So I was like, I'll just pick the first one on this list that I haven't read. And it was The Silent Patient. And I didn't think twice about it. And I just purchased it. And I really wish I had thought twice. I really wish I'd thought like even once, because I didn't. And it just did such a disservice, in my opinion, to mental health, and the ideas that the mental health professionals kept calling the patients bitches, which if I thought my therapist was calling me a bitch behind my back, I would start crying, and I wouldn't stop. Because I'm gonna start crying anyway, so that would just send me over. And it just made like the whole mental health profession look so bad, which a lot of psychological thrillers obviously have mental illness components that don't make the whole mental health industry look awful. So the fact that this book was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna blame all of this on being crazy. And the plot wasn't like, there was no twist, nothing was unexpected. It was just such a waste of my time. I didn't like it. I don't have positive, well, I guess I medium liked it because I gave it 3 stars. It was just my least favorite book this month. And then in terms of stars, I tend to overrate a little bit, as evidenced by my giving The Silent Patient 3 stars. I think if I could go back and do it again now, I'd probably give it 2 stars, maybe 1, just because I'm so mad at how awful they made seeking treatment for mental health should not look like that. But I still feel that books are a piece of art, and they're like an expression of the author, and I feel bad saying that a piece of art that somebody put their time and effort and love into is bad. Like, I feel bad rating that poorly, because I feel bad rating it poorly because I feel like they put their time and effort and soul into writing a book, and who am I to come along and be like, your art is bad objectively? Because it's not, it's subjective, and I'm sure they know that. They put it out there, they know that they're gonna get some criticism, right? But like, I would feel sad if I was an author and somebody gave me my book 1 star, so I can't do it to other people. So that being said, I had an average of 4.32 stars given. So over my 25 books, I just add up all of the books that I've read, like, 14 times 5 times 4, blah, 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 and then I divide it by 25, the amount of books that I've read, to get the average star rating for my books that month. So that was 4.32 for June, which I think is, out of the months I've been doing it, that's pretty on par for me. So not a great month, not a horrible month, just a month in terms of books that I read. 14 5-star books, that's a lot. 5 4-star books, 6 3-star books, and then no 2 or 1-star books, because again, I'm so bad at being critical of people's art, but whatever, that's not what we're here for. Pages, 8,443. That is more pages than I have read in a month than all the other months in the year. So that I was really proud of, that I read so many pages that month. That's a lot of pages, I think. I assume. Honestly, I don't know what the average number of pages that like a book enthusiast reads per month, but I feel like that must be pretty high, right? I read 3 books that were hardcover, 6 that were paperback, and then Mansfield Park I listened to as an audiobook, and I also had it as a hardcover where like I would read sometimes and listen sometimes. So 1-ish audiobook and 16 ebooks. So clearly the majority of my books are ebooks. My favorite quote was from the Moonday Letters by Emmy Taranta. Many things happen by coincidence. I heard Vivian's voice in my head, fewer than you might think. Thought that made me think, really got me there. You can see the genres that I read here. The most category would be fantasy, but obviously I like split up romances and stuff and fiction novels by kind of more than just romance. Like, is it a historical romance? Is it a contemporary romance, fantasy romance, whatever. So you'll just have to see, specifically what you're looking for there, just to kind of get a glimpse of the typical genres that I read in a month. Might be interesting. But moving on to the actual books that I read this month, there was 25 of them. So I don't feel like I can give an in-depth review on 25 books, because with the way that I talk about things, we're gonna be here until tomorrow, and I have a doctor's appointment in an hour, so I don't have the time for that. I don't think you have the time for that, or maybe you do. Maybe I will make a whole 3-hour video discussing all of the books I read at the end of the year. 3 hours would be really short for that. But I'm just gonna start with, I'll move back from, because I'm not weathercasting anymore. I'll start with the first book I read and just go through them in chronological order. I was gonna rank them, but it's so difficult when it comes to like Halsey's Typhoon. I rated 5 stars, but it's like a World War II nonfiction history novel. It's really difficult to rate something like that against like Mother of Death and Dawn, the end of the War of Lost Hearts trilogy, which is like fantasy and like fantasy romance. They're both great. It just depends on, like, I can't rank that against each other. So instead I've decided that I'll go through chronologically and give a recommend or a do not recommend. And I'll just keep the short reviews, tell you what I would recommend them for, and if I do or do not recommend them, and keep the tally going. And that's how we're gonna do this. So book number 108 was the first book that I finished this year. The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I gave this 5 stars. I would recommend this. If you read They Both Die at the End and you liked it, then I would recommend it. And I also think I would read They Both Die at the End before this one. But I really like this book. I would recommend it. Mother of Death and Dawn, Carissa Broadbent. It's number 3 in the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. I would recommend this, but I would recommend it obviously after having read the first 2. And I would recommend it if you like fantasy and fantasy romance books. Princess Florinda and the 40-Flight Tower by Tasman Muir. I gave this one 5 stars. I would recommend this if you like, I would recommend this if you need a short book to hit your Goodreads for the year, for the month or whatever. And if you like kind of short, princessy, satire-y stories, it's funny, it's good, I liked it. The Hating Game, Sally Thorne. I give this one 4 stars. I would recommend it if you like cheesy romances. Great for like maybe a kind of cheesy, beachy read. Holden's Mate by Meg Ripley. This is the Daddy Dragon Guardians series number 1. I gave it 5 stars. I'd recommend this if you like single dads and dragon shifters. If you want a short romance hitting your Goodreads quota that doesn't take itself too seriously and that's not like it's not pretending to be something it's not. It's not like the most well-written or clever book of all time, but if you want something light and short and a little bit cheesy, go for it. Xander's Mate by Meg Ripley, number 2 in the Daddy Dragon Guardian series. I gave this one 4 stars just because it starts to feel a little formulaic after a bit. I would recommend this one. See Holden's Mate for my reasons why. Halsey's Typhoon by Bob Drury and Tom Clavin. 5 stars. I would recommend this one if you like nonfiction books about World War II history. Especially naval World War II history, which is an important piece of my character development. The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, The Empyrean, number 1. I recommend this one if you like Hermione and Draco fan fiction. And if you like series like Throne of Glass or Harry Potter and wish that they had dragons. Harry Potter does have dragons, but you'll see what I mean. A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. I would recommend this one. I give it 5 stars. If you like William Shakespeare and want to know what it would be like to be on drugs without actually having to take drugs. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this one 5 stars. I'd recommend this one if you like, I'm going to say historical fiction, but messy historical fiction. Like if you're there for tabloid culture, you like reading about the stuff that pop stars get up to in their spare time, you'll love this. The Moonday Letters by Emmy Ataranta. I give this one 3.5 stars. Medium recommend if you're looking for if you like prose and a little bit of spirituality and science fiction / What If People Lived on Mars, which is kind of a weird intersection of people, but I know that there's going to be somebody out there who is that intersection, so you're who I'm talking to when I say I recommend it. For everybody else, it's probably something you can skip. The cover's really pretty though. If you like sparkly covers, recommend. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I give this one 5 stars. Hard recommend if you love crime, if you want to be heartbroken, and if you like romance and mythology. If that intersection of people, that's you, read it. It's Our Secret by Willow Winters. This I gave 3 stars. I would say I do not recommend it. I would recommend it if you have really intense revenge fantasies and want to see how it could maybe play out in real time and with romance sprinkled in. Violetta by Isabel Allante. I would hit recommend on this if you like literary fiction, historical fiction type vibes. It was great. I loved it. Took me by surprise. I'll say that one for free. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, skip. Don't recommend it. I recommend it if you want an excuse to not go to therapy. I guess I would recommend it also if you like, just a general recommend for it if you hate mental health advocacy and you like really thin plots. The Island of Missing Trees by Ella Shafak. 4 stars, recommend if you like literary fiction. And if you like trees. If you like trees, you're gonna love this book. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 5 stars, absolutely recommend. Especially if you are into messy family drama. Messy family drama, this is your book. Also, if you are a parentified older sibling, I feel like you're going to be really seen. So that's... Parentified older children are going to love this one. Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I give it some 5 stars. Recommend if you want to boink your cousin. Just kidding, don't do that. Forget I said that. Recommend if you like historical fiction, romance vibes. If you like other Austen works. I don't think this one gets enough credit because I loved it, so. Even if the cousin thing is weird, but all of Jane Austen's characters marry their cousins, so what do you want? As We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood, 3 stars. Don't recommend. Recommend if you like cultural appropriation. Maybe recommend if you like love triangles that don't wrap up satisfyingly, and if you like curses that don't really make a whole lot of sense. A River Enchanted and a Fire Endless, The Elements of Cadence Duology by Rebecca Ross. Recommend if you are a person who likes books. I guess maybe a little bit more than that. If you like fantasy fairy tale-esque vibes, Scottish vibes, you're gonna love this. Just trust me, I recommend it. I wholeheartedly recommend it. I double recommend it. Double dog recommend it to you. A Kiss to Tell duology by Willow Winters. I gave both of these 3 stars. I don't recommend it. I recommend it if you like plots that don't really wrap up conveniently and you leave more confused than you entered the book. Carrie Soto's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 5 stars. Highly recommend. Must read. If you've ever been a little bit of a perfectionist, you are going to love this. You're going to feel a little called out, a little seen, and it's gonna hit home. Recommended for tennis fans and non-tennis fans alike. Actually, if you would like it if you're a tennis fan, but I have to assume so because it's about a tennis player. So probably love it. Scottish Myths by Jake Jackson. I give this one 3 stars. I don't really think I would recommend this one. It's only a very niche recommendation to people who are looking to learn not about the mythology of Scotland, but more so the actual short stories that would have been told to children, like their little fairy tales. And some of them don't really make sense, which is fine. I guess they don't have to, but maybe if you were looking for Scottish fairy tales to tell your children, I would recommend it. But even then, I can't say for sure. And yeah, that's my June wrap up. The books after that are from July. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys have been reading and let me know what I should read next because I'm always looking for book recommendations. And thank you so much for watching. Please like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.